Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, if we don't take any action, it's almost 15 years. And this house that we pride, which I believe we are, the house of the people, the earlier we look for scapegoats, which are justifiable, these guys have not lived up to expectations. The president has said, I've given Northerners this position to defend, your people. That is what he said practically. So now, every single day, we have a minimum of 3 security-related motions, and lives are gone. So I think it's high time we come here as a resolution, because we have a lot of these resolutions. I think more than 50% of the resolutions of the 10th Assembly are security-related. So let's find culprits. We have our committees that are living up to expectations. They can research this. They can look at those that have not done what is expected from them, and somebody should be held responsible, so that those that are coming behind, we know that if you don't do what is expected from you, then you are going to get out of where you are. And on that note, I might propose that, look, we can call on the president to sack all security political appointees. It's 10 months. All of them have been in office for 10 months. Even if you are given a job, you have a probation of 10 months. If you're not living up to expectation, you don't get your confinement after 1 year. Political appointees, security-wise, all of them, they can get fired. And those that can live up to expectations should come over. And every now and then, we have this debate here. 1, 2, 3 months, if this continues and they know that you are not living up to expectation, are going to get sacked, tendency of sitting down and doing what is expected will be there. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, is the issue of welfare of members of the armed forces. I think while we are hitting, on them at the same time, or member of security-related agencies, we have to look at the welfare of those that are there on a daily basis, day and night, to make sure that we sleep with our 2 eyes closed. I think the committees have enough motions or resolutions to look at. Let's look at their welfare. Is it commensurate to what they're doing? So, honorable colleagues, Mr. Speaker, this is my little contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well spoken. I must say that's okay, well spoken, and passionately so. As a true Nigerian.
Rating my colleague, Honorable Jaha, on what happened over the weekend, which we have not had in a long time, which has to do with suicide bombing. And at the same time, Mr. Speaker, I want to use this opportunity to commiserate with the people of Jibia in Katsina State who, had an attack just 24 hours ago. And at the same time, commiserate with the people in Sokoto with the attacks that have been happening recently between Sokoto and Gusau Road, which unfortunately we lost the Deputy Vice Chancellor just a little over a week ago. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, this is one too many. Please permit me to highlight something that happened in Katsina just last week when the Northwest leaders came together, to deliberate with regards to security, not only in the Northwest, but in Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, in the course of that summit, the Vice President, made a presentation there where he made mention that the President specifically brought Northerners to be in charge of security-related agencies and ministries. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, in April this year, the National Security Advisor was also in Sokoto, and he was talking about the same issue, that the President deliberately chose Northerners to head this defense and security agencies.
Yes, and the people of that area's lives are not being protected. And you cannot hear, like it happened during military juntas, that someone is called to account for neglecting his responsibility that led to a particular act. Government must try to call people accountable for that. Then, Mr. Speaker, security expert knows that solving security problem is not equally about the holding of bombs or AK-47 by the security agencies against these infidels. So it has to do with the economic standard living condition of the people. Government must equally centralize its energies and actions on improving the welfare and the standard living condition of the people. The Almajiris on the streets that turn to be what they are, and a lot of people that have no access to other amenities by government, state government, local government, and federal government. When we improve that, it goes a long way with solving security problem. Finally, Mr. Speaker, my little adjustment is this. I don't think the security apparatus is being charged by a particular region, like my brother Dasuki did say. The Inspector General of Police is not from northern Nigeria. The Chief of Army Staff is not from Northern Nigeria. So this thing, we must discuss it as Nigerians, and we must equally, like you did say, security-related committee must live up to their expectation by calling the agencies they are superintending and conducting oversight under to account for what they are doing, that the breakdown in law and order must come to an end. This is not the fault of the president. Mr. Speaker, if we do our job here as a National Assembly, oversight this agency the way you advise that we should oversight, not make them our friends, not make them our enemy, but make them the agency that we superintend over, and bring constructive findings on this hallowed chamber for us to debate on. I am sure every head of security agency would live up to expectation. But I support my brother Dasuki too, that we cannot continue to keep people in position where they are incapacitated, where they cannot discharge their responsibility. Thank you.
Being true citizens of this country reflects on how we share this burden together. It's painful. And I share in the pain of those from the affected states. It's not only in the north. Just 2 days ago or 3 days ago, policemen were shot again in Abia State for doing nothing at their duty posts. So it's a national issue. And this calls for concern, especially for the heads of the committees in charge of the security agencies. I hope we are doing the right oversight. I hope we are doing the right oversight. That is the duty of Parliament. That's the duty of Parliament. Our duty is not to be friends with those we are oversighting. Our duty is to put our feet down on behalf of Nigerians and make sure that they get their job done well and make them accountable. It's our duty as Parliament. Anything short of that is unparliamentary. I want to hear more people discuss this. Let's hear from Jimmy, the Chairman Defense.
Federal constituency. Mr. Speaker, it is indeed a sad day. The crime was heinous. It was barbaric, to say the least. Our youth from 35 and below were killed by a heinous and dastardly act by a suicider. Thank God, Honorable Jara told us the post-intelligence report. He said that the perpetrators were all dressed in what is called ANCO uniform. They knew where they came from. This same post-intelligence that was gathered after the dastardly acts. My surprise is that my urge or my request is that we should put all hands on deck, that the all society approach strategy should be used to detect these type of actions before they happen. That is why I would always suggest that the committee which you chair on constitutional review should please prioritize state police. The amount of men and women we have in uniform is not commensurate to the amount of men we need to have. We need to recruit as many people as possible. These young people that are unemployed can find solace and hope in being in one state, in a state police, a local government police arrangement. We need to put them into the formal system so that they get jobs that are pensionable. They begin to have hope for a better tomorrow. Why do our youth get indoctrinated? They get indoctrinated because there's no hope, there's no job. But we have the capacity to absorb as many of them as possible. Mr. Speaker, you're chairman of the Committee on Constitutional Reform. Please, let's expedite this. The only way we can eradicate insecurity is if we give hope to our teeming youth. There's a nexus between insecurity and development. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Well said. Well said. And I can assure you the Committee on Constitutional Review is prioritizing security-related bills before us, and we are pushing it. And with your support, I'm sure we'll be able to plug that as one of the solutions to this Hydra-headed problem. Honorable, but to allow you ventilate on issues of national importance. That is the reason why we are here. Not for the titles, not for all the things that comes with the office, but to represent
the people of Borno State for the loss of these very great men and women, children, infants that we have recorded so far. And not only in those areas, like my brother did mention, Katsina, I heard of it last week. There was something between Sapele and Kaduna, almost every part of this country. And that's why I want to appreciate what my brother, Honorable Gagdi mentioned. And what he mentioned, I was humbled by the tune of your own contribution while sitting on the chair, that we should discuss as Nigerians, that we should do away with what is called regional. And that's what is dividing us more instead of integrating us. And as far as I'm concerned, this matter of security is for all of us. It's about the entirety of the nation. There's no part of this country that is safe. And we should not pretend to this. And I want to thank you very much for charging us, those of us who are chairman of committee, to live up to our own responsibility, to be members of parliament, that we will speak to the people, for the people, and on behalf of the people, and speak for ourselves. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. My brother on Tajuddin, the other time, mentioned about the welfare, what is being done in advanced country, as he was also a former ex-service person in that particular community, U.S. Army particularly. Of course, welfare is something we should speak about. But I want to believe too that there are some nitty-gritties that we do not have to come to the floor of the House to begin to mention. Even the information divulged to us that they came in uniform, you are also alerting them in one way or the other that this other one has been discovered, and they will go to do another device. And I do not want us to always be emotional on issues like this. But let's be factual. The emotional could come only in executive sessions. As we get emotional, we always divulge the strategy and discoveries, and by one way or the other, we are sabotaging the efforts of the security agents. And by implication, escalating what is going on. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, I think the security agencies are doing more than sufficient, particularly, and I believe you are reading your reports, the Department of the State Security Service. But the issue is this: accountability. Holdings of people has been lacking in terms of what really goes wrong. And I give you an example, Mr. Speaker. Over the period of time that we have had issues on the plateau, just of recent, the DSS, I read somewhere, I stumbled on it, they did an excellent job arresting some people right from here, from Gwagwalada. Those who are supplying arms, till this moment, nobody has been prosecuted. And that brings back to the issue of accountability. Somebody must be held responsible. Heads must roll. Any attempt to run away from that, we are just doing politics. And playing politics with lives of Nigerians, I think it's a wake-up call. Your statement is a wake-up call. And what is happening in other African countries, particularly what happened in Kenya, we should not deceive ourselves. Let us not allow the people out there to come and chase us out here. I think we have a lot to offer, and we should be seen to be doing a lot for this country. The country has done more than sufficient for us. For you to be here as a member of parliament is sufficient grace. There are more than 200 million Nigerians out there. The Dangotes, the Obas, the Emirs cannot come here to suspend your rule. It means then we have a favor. And that favor should be converted, should be utilized in the interest of our own nation, just like we sought to uphold the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, we are playing a lot of politics with the last of Nigerians. The issue of state police, sir, I will tell you for free, I will not vote for it. You know what the governors are doing, how they are cajoling, how they are manipulating the states. If you say give them that power, you are going to run from...
it's not yet time for debate on the state police.
Personal, Mr. Speaker, my personal opinion.
Yeah, when that time comes, you'll be given time.
We all know what's going on, sir. It is about doing the right thing. The state governors are there. You see, Jaha did mention what happened in his own community. They were the one mobilizing, paying money from their pocket. They are complaining they cannot pay 60,000 naira now for minimum wage. You want to go and add another branch of people, problem to them, and at the end of the day, you will arm them, and then they will have more sophisticated armed robbers in the country. Mr. Speaker, we need to speak to ourselves. First, to assess the number of the security agencies in the country. Are they commensurate to our population in terms of policing? They are not. We are just to employ 10,000. Till today, we are playing policies with it. The list have not been released. Training have not commenced. Is it about state policing? No. Mr. Speaker, I want to respect and ask my colleagues that we need to ask for occasion. But the most important thing, the motion moved by Honorable Linda in Chinda the other time, that we need to go into executive session, discuss this matter. We need to do that urgently. And I want to beg Mr. Speaker, that before we go on recess, because I know very soon, by our calendar, we are going on recess. We need to carry out this function. Otherwise, every morning we'll come here, say one motion, pray for another, for 1 minute silence, and then tomorrow we'll come back again, and if you compute the loss of man hour that was supposed to contribute is also huge and great. Okay, do you wish to amend the prayer to include that? Do we want to come by way of amendment to include it now? No, we can take this motion, but I'm saying that... Oh, you want to come as a separate motion? There was a motion, that was a prayer that was answered but in the House, that the House need to go into executive session to discuss security matters. It has not been done. That prayer was answered about two weeks ago. Clerk, you will bring me the House resolution number and present it to the leadership so that we'll look at it and call for executive section to do this. Sir. And lastly, sir, if we must solve this matter, it's high time now to respect our own standing orders. We do what? Our standing orders. Committees are expected to be returning reports, be laid for discussion and consideration. I don't think we have had that one. We keep sending motions, the receive compliance, what are they doing? What are the other standing committees doing as the give them the motion? It is there in our House standing order. We were supposed to be having consideration of reports. Okay, this discussion is in line with the security issue? Yes, sir. And security committees? Yes, sir. If we advance that, I think it will also help in sorting out and dealing with the matter. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. I think we have really those issues that you raised. So, the same with other people who spoke today. I think we'll just put the question, and everybody who have comment to make, wait until we go for the executive section. Please, let me finish. Those who have issues to discuss on security, like the former Deputy Speaker advised, and I said it's actually in order, let us wait when we go into executive section, because it has to do with security matters. There we can adumbrate better. All right, so I'll just put the question. What's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, constituency, I'm from Rivers State. My point of order is on personal explanation. Mr. Speaker, I have noticed, with due respect to you, Mr.
You say your point of order is?
Personal explanation. I have noticed, Mr. Speaker, with due respect to you, Mr. Speaker, each time you preside, you do not give preference to first-timers. Look at the mover of the motion is a ranking member. Virtually everyone who contributed here were all ranking members. You need to allow for fresh ideas. You need to allow for fresh ideas, Mr. Speaker. Some of us, we know more than the old ranking members. Allow us to speak. I took time to listen. Virtually everyone who contributed here are all ranking members. And this is always what you do. And I don't like it. So if you allow me, I'll make my contribution, Mr. Speaker. You allow me, I'll make my contribution. This matter is very critical to our country.
All right, thank you very much. You see, there is no discrimination in the parliament. Focusing, sometimes we give one per role. So if you happen not to be on that role, when we call for people to raise their hand there, it might elude you. I was also once a first-time member, so and I knew that I was not discriminated against. So let's not make it first-time member or that's not the right way of discussing it. All right, so I want to put the question. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.